welcome back to my YouTube channel, or if it's your first time here joining us, hello and welcome. My name's Emily and I'm a yoga instructor, as you may have guessed. Today's practice is a slow flowing practice, keeping it fairly simple, and this is very much a beginner friendly video, although if you are a bit further along in your practice and you just want to slow it down a little bit, then this will be a really nice one for you as well. Still building plenty of strength and working on our flexibility, but in a bit of a slower, more mindful way. If you enjoy this video, please remember to give it a little thumbs up. It all helps me to reach more people and boost this channel. And if you haven't already, click the subscribe button to see new videos from me every week. I hope you enjoy this practice. There's a nice little relaxation at the end as well, so you can look forward to that. So we're going to begin in a seated position. Come down to the mat when you're ready. If you're comfortable sitting with the legs crossed, we'll start there. You're welcome to sit up on a cushion to make it a little bit nicer on the hips and the lower back, or you can stretch the legs out in front if you prefer. Bring the hands to just rest on the knees, let the shoulders relax down, and start to just lift the chest slightly. So we lengthen the spine by lifting up through the front of the body, allowing the shoulders to drop down. Drop your chin down to your chest, tuck the chin all the way down. Feel that nice stretch in the back of the neck. Take a long breath in through the nose. Release out through the mouth. Now slowly lift your head all the way up. Lift your chin as high as you can. Start to feel the opening through the throat. Long breath in through the nose. Out through the mouth. Slowly bring the head to center. Back to a neutral alignment in the neck. And turn to look to your right. Imagine you're trying to take your chin almost past your right shoulder. So we start to stretch the left side of the neck. Keep the spine long, keep lifting up tall. Long breath in through the nose. Out through the mouth. Slowly bring your head back to center, not rushing through any of these movements, and take it across to the left. Lift up through the spine. Look as far to the left as you can. Take a long breath in through the nose. Out through the mouth. And then bring it back to center. Take the arms out by your sides. Inhale as you bring the arms up and overhead. Touch the palms together. Exhale, bring the hands down through the center. Reach out wide. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, hands come down through the center. Once more, inhale, reaching wide. Spread the fingers. And exhale, bring the hands down through the center. Interlace the fingers here, press the palms forwards. Inhale, rising up. Exhale, release the hands, bring them down. Bring hands to center, interlace the fingers, press forwards. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, release. All the way down. Hands come back to center one more time. Press the palms forwards and up as you inhale. Exhale to release. Now we're going to come through onto the hands and the knees. So bring the knees directly under the hips so you've got a bit of space between them. Hands are placed under the shoulders, spreading out the fingers. Let your belly drop down, lift your chest, look forwards, inhale. Lift your back towards the sky, tuck your chin to your chest, exhale. Again, drop the belly, lift the head, inhale. Exhale, lift the back, drop the chin. We'll do that a couple more times. Moving through cat and cow. Inhale as you reach the chest forward. Exhale as you round the back. Then bring yourself back to a neutral alignment with the spine. Bring the big toes together to touch. Take the knees just a little bit wider. Then lift up the right hand and reach it up to the sky, turning your chest to the right. Reach up with the fingertips. Take a breath in. Exhale, slowly bring that hand down. Place it back onto the mat. Lift up the left hand, same thing to the other side. Reach up, turn your chest to the left. Inhale. Exhale, slowly bring it back down. Inhale, lifting up to the right. Open up the chest, reach up with the fingertips. Exhale, bring it back down. Inhale to the left, reaching up, opening up. Exhale, back down. Once more each way. Try not to rush. Inhale, slowly rising up and opening. Exhale, slowly closing back down. Inhale, last one to the left. Exhale, bring it down. Then sit back towards the hips, towards the heels. Hips go towards the heels. That's what I want to say. And just keep your chest and your head lifted for a moment. Take a very gentle rocking motion from side to side with the hips. You should feel a nice opening through the inner thighs, a nice sort of stretch into the groin, releasing a little bit of tension in the lower back as well. If you're not quite sure what you're feeling, don't worry too much, just go with it, keep breathing. And then walk the hands out a little bit further, take the hands as wide as the mat, spread out the fingers and let the forehead rest onto the mat. If you find that your forehead doesn't comfortably come down onto the mat, or that by resting the forehead on the mat you're placing a lot of pressure into the head, then bring your hands under your head instead. So you can stack one palm on top of the other like this, or you can bring the hands into fists like this. Give yourself a bit more space. Breathe deeply here. We're breathing in and out through the nose as much as possible. Think about filling up the torso as you breathe in. So we're breathing in, filling the lungs of course, but it can feel as though we're breathing into the sides of the body, into the back of the body, even into the belly. So think about inflating throughout the torso as you breathe. And then slowly lift back up to center. Bring the knees back to hip distance apart. Then you're going to walk the knees towards the back of the mat, so the toes are now at the back. Keep the knees hip distance apart. I'm going to keep the hips over the knees as we walk the hands forwards and let the forehead come to the ground. So we're into puppy pose, or heart to earth pose, Tadasana. So we want to let the chest drop down here as much as you can, feeling this big stretch through the shoulders, through the armpits. It's a really good stretch to do if you do have tightness around the shoulders. Deepen the breath. Again, think about breathing throughout the torso. One more breath here. Then bring the weight, or bring some pressure into the hands, into the forearms. You're going to press them down, lift the head, and shift your weight forwards, lowering the hips down to the mat. Walk the hands and the forearms A little further forwards, so the elbows are under the shoulders, the palms are down on the mat. If that little transition didn't quite work as you wanted it, don't worry. Just come down onto your front, place the forearms down, spread out the fingers, and press down into the elbows, lifting the chest. We're now into Sphinx Pose. Try and avoid the shoulders hunching forwards here. Think about trying to pull your shoulders back towards your feet. And find your breath. This is one of my favourite stretches to do for the back and for the shoulders. So simple, it doesn't look like much, and you might not really be feeling very much, but it's something that you can sustain, that you can hold for quite a long time, that you can breathe through, and it's working into those areas that become very tight when we spend a lot of time sitting, which, let's face it, we all do. We all spend a lot more time sitting these days than we do on the move. And we end up with that hunched forwards position, that tightness through the chest, through the fronts of the shoulders, weakness in the muscles of the back. So this is just reversing that. Notice once you've been here for a little while, you'll probably start to slope down a little bit without realising. So press into the elbows, lift the chest a little bit more. And this is something that if you practice every day, it will make a big difference to how you feel in your back, just in general. Something you can do maybe while reading a book, watching TV, doing anything else. Go for one more breath here. Press into the elbows a little bit more. Nice. And then very gently take the elbows a little wider and let yourself rest down onto the mat. Turn the head to one side. Let the legs relax. Let the arms relax. And then just slide the hands under the shoulders. We're going to press up onto the knees, tuck the toes, and we'll make our way up to downward facing dog. So hands are about as wide as the mat. Spread the palms out, press through the palms, lift the hips up high, and then start to pedal the feet. So we're going to do this a few times. Reach the hips up as high as you can. Keep a little bend in the knees to begin with. And think about reaching your belly towards your thighs. Excuse me, just chucking myself in. Okay, so belly reaches towards the thighs, the knees are bent. Then we'll start with the right foot. Reach the right heel down towards the mat. Doesn't matter if it touches it or not. Straighten that right leg and keep the left knee bent. Breathe here. Press down with that right heel. Press into both hands. Then we'll swap over. So bend that right knee. Reach the left heel down, straighten the left leg. Press through the palms. Press into the heel. Now we'll swap between the two. So right heel down, left knee bends. Left heel down, right knee bends. It's a little bit like Twister. Lefts and rights. Do that a couple of times, just pedaling the feet. Find your breath. Building strength through the arms and the shoulders. And then look forwards towards the hands and take a little walk up to the top of the mat. Lift the hands when you need to. Bring the feet hip distance apart. Bend the knees enough that the belly can rest on the thighs and let the arms hang down. Let go of the head. Gently shake the head left to right as if you're saying no. And take a big breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Then slowly press into the heels and roll up the spine. So your head is the last thing to lift as you come up to stand. And roll the shoulders back, a little shuffle. And then turn the palms to face forwards, lift up through the chest, let the shoulders drop down, standing tall in mountain pose or Tadasana. Inhale, reach the arms up overhead, bring the palms together. Exhale, soften the knees, let the hands come all the way down. slide the hands up to the shins as you lift halfway, coming to this flat back position. Shrug the shoulders down away from the ears, pull the belly button in to create this flat back. Take a breath in. And then exhale, soften the knees, let everything hang down again. Bend the knees enough that you can bring the fingertips to the mat. Take a big step back with the right foot and lower that right knee down to the mat. You can either keep the back toes tucked or you can flatten that foot. We're going to lift up just onto the fingertips. Reach this left knee forwards and let the hips sink down. So nice big stretch for this right hip flexor. Breathe in. Now bring the left hand on top of the left thigh. Press into that left thigh for a little bit of stability. And then reach this right arm forwards and up. As you do that, keep the hips low. So we're not lifting up like this. We're staying low, just lifting the arm up. Nice. Take a breath in. And then exhale, bring it down. Lift the left arm, take a twist. Inhale, reach up with the fingertips. And then exhale, place that foot down the other side of the left foot. Tuck the back toes, lift that back knee, and slide the left foot through into plank. Drop the knees if you need to for half plank. Keep pressing into the palms, lifting the chest away from the ground. Take a breath in. And then exhale, lower down to the belly. Point the toes back. Inhale to lift the chest forward to cobra. Shrug the shoulders down away from the ears. Exhale, release. Tuck the toes, press up to downward facing dog. So you can come through the knees or you can lift straight up. Let the heels sink down or you can pedal the feet as we did before. Now try lifting the right leg towards the sky. Point the toes away. Press down through the left heel. Press evenly through both hands into three-legged dog. Take a breath in. Exhale as you step up to the top of the mat. So one big step forwards with that right foot and then as many more steps as you need to get both feet up to the top of the mat. Soften the knees, let the arms hang down. Then sweep the arms forwards and up to the sky. Inhale, reaching up high. Exhale, bring the palms together, soften the knees, come down, forward fold. Inhale to lift up to that flat back halfway position. Slide the hands up the shins. Pull the belly button in, shrug the shoulders down away from the ears. Exhale, soften the knees, forward fold. Bring the fingertips to the mat, step the left foot back and drop the knee to the mat. So into this low lunge again. So you can flatten out the back foot or you can keep the toes tucked, see which you prefer. Press down into the front foot, reach the front knee forwards so that rather than being back here, we're here. Lift onto the fingertips, look forwards, find your breath. Anytime we come into these lunge poses, you can always put a bit of padding under the back knee. So either a blanket or a towel, or you can just curl over the edge of the mat. So you've got a little bit of extra support there. Nice. Then bring the right hand on top of the right thigh. Press into that right thigh for a little support. Reach the left arm forwards and up to the sky. Find your breath. Another breath in. Exhale, bring that hand down to the mat. Then reach the right arm up into a twist. So reach up with the fingertips, turn the chest to the right. Take a breath in. Exhale, bring it down. Tuck the back toes, lift up that back knee, slide the right foot through. We're into plank. Again, you can drop the knees if you need to. Press the ground away, lift your body up away from the ground. One more breath in. Exhale down to the belly. Drop the knees first if you like. Toes point back. We inhale to lift the chest to cobra. Exhale to release. Tuck the toes. We're coming back up to downward facing dog. So press into the palms. You can lift to the knees first and then send the hips up and back. Heels sink down. Press through the palms. Find the breath. Then we're lifting the left leg for three-legged dog. Point the toes away, lift up high. Take a breath in. Exhale, stepping up to the top of the mat. Take as many steps as you need to get there. Inhale to sweep the arms forwards and up to the sky. And then exhale, just bring the hands together in front of the heart. Let the shoulders relax. Lift up tall. So lift the chest, pull the belly button in, just stabilize through your core. And shuffle the feet so they come together to touch. We're going to practice our tree pose, classic yoga balance. So if you're new to this, I'll talk you through it. We're going to keep the palms together at the heart, shoulders, shrug down. Keep that core switched on by pulling the belly button in, firing up those abdominal muscles. And then we're going to shift the weight onto the left foot, bending the right knee. So you can see from the side, we're just lifting onto the toes. If you're brand new to tree pose, you might just try turning that knee out and keeping the toes on the ground and just finding a balance here. If you're more familiar with tree pose, you can come straight up, lift that knee to the chest, open it out, and then place the sole of the foot either against the lower leg, or you might use your hand for a little help, and bring that foot up above the knee. But we don't want to place that foot directly against the knee joint. We don't want to cause any problems there. So find where you want to be for your tree pose, then lift a little bit more. We have a tendency of sinking down and collapsing into the hip of that standing leg. So try and lift out of that left hip. Whoa. Pull in from the belly button. That's going to help you find your balance. Keep opening this knee out, so squeeze the right glute, and that's going to help you to keep that knee open. Lift the chest, shoulders drop down. Find something you can gaze at to help you to balance. We call this a drishti. Find your breath. If you're a little further along in your practice, you might try taking that prayer position up overhead. If that throws your balance completely, bring it back down. We'll go for one more breath here. Lift up a little bit more. Then try bringing that knee back to the centre. Lift it up a little more as you inhale. And as you exhale, you're going to step that foot back into a lunge. Let the heel come down, let the toes turn out. So we're into warrior one. So lunge that foot back. Place it down, toes turn out just slightly. We should still have the hips facing forwards. Then we're going to reach the arms up, reach the fingertips up high, press back into the right heel, sink down into the left knee. If it feels really wobbly, take that front foot out a little bit wider, so out to the left. Maybe taking your gaze up to the sky just for a moment. See how that affects your balance. Take a breath in. And then we'll open up to warrior two. Pivot that back foot out to 90 degrees now and open out the arms towards the front and back of the mat. Palms turn to face down. Shuffle that back foot a little wider. We want to have the hips nice and open now. And bend this left knee a little bit more so you can sink down. We're aiming for this left knee to be stacked on top of the left heel. Reach out with the fingertips. Shoulders draw down. Belly button pulls in, so we're flat through the back. Press down through both feet, bring some energy into that back foot as well. Then turn your head so you're looking out towards the left fingertips. Bring this right hand that's at the back up and over. You're going to swivel around on that back foot, coming through this lunge position, and then slide the left foot through so we're back into plank. Just one breath in. Exhale, lower the knees, lower the belly, come all the way down. Toes point back, inhale to cobra. Exhale, release. Tuck the toes, press into the palms, and lift yourself back up to downward facing dog. Find your breath. Then bend the knees, look forwards to the hands, and you can either step up to the front of the mat, or you can try bringing a big bend into the knees, and then taking a little hop as far as you can. Doesn't matter if you don't get all the way, you can always step the rest of the way. Find your forward fold. Inhale, sweep the arms forwards and up. Exhale, hands come together at the heart. Bring the feet close together. Lift up, pull the belly button in. We'll take tree pose to the other side. Shoulders relax. So bring your weight onto your right foot this time and let that left knee lift. So we're just on the toes of the left foot. Lift up, find your balance here first. If you're more familiar with tree pose, you can go straight on into it. But if you're new to this, take your time. Notice again if you're sinking down, collapsing into the right hip. See if you can lift a little more. Pull the belly button in. And then we're going to turn that knee out. Either staying here, if this is where you need to be, or lifting that knee up towards the chest and then taking it out and placing the sole of the foot either below or above the knee. So see where you want to be. Press the palms together, keep some energy through the hands, pull the belly button in and lift as tall as you can. Again, find your drishti. Squeeze the left glute, so through the bum to keep that knee open. Find your breath. So again, you have the option to try taking the hands up overhead. If that makes you wobble all over the shop, bring it back down. Keep smiling, however wobbly it might be. You will have wobbly days and you'll have less wobbly days. It's all part of this practice. Again, if you have the arms up overhead, nice and slowly, bring the hands back down to center. Bring this knee to the chest. Take a breath in as you lift up. As you exhale, you're going to step back with that left foot. Let the heel come down, let the toes turn out to about 45 degrees and bend this right knee. So we're into warrior one. Nice. Then send the arms up, palms face in towards each other, fingertips reach up high. We straighten the back leg and press back into the heel, bend the front knee. Again, you can try taking your gaze up to the sky, looking up. If that doesn't feel good, keep looking forwards. Take another breath in. As you exhale, and open to warrior two. So pivot on the back foot, turn the toes out to 90 degrees and open out the arms with the palms facing down. Shuffle that back foot a little further back, bend the right knee a little bit more. I'm going to turn around so I haven't got my back to you. But we should have the right knee bent, left leg straight. Arms are reaching out, fingertips spreading wide. Belly button pulls in, we press out through both feet. And we turn to look past the right fingertips, gazing out into the distance. Maybe sinking down a little bit more, sending this knee out towards the toes. So it's not turning in, but it's reaching away. One more breath here. Then this left hand at the back, we're going to bring up and over. Coming through this lunge, we'll step through into plank and slowly lower down to the belly. Point the toes back. Inhale to lift the chest to cobra. Exhale to release. This time just lift up onto the knees and come through to a child's pose. So you can do as we did before, taking the knees wide, big toes together and sitting back. Or you can try keeping the knees a bit closer together and coming down this way. Either with the arms outstretched in front of you or with the arms just resting by your sides so the shoulders can relax a little more. Again, you have the option to place the hands under the forehead, either the palms or in fists. We want this to be a comfortable rest pose, so make it comfortable. Then deepen your breath. Soften the muscles of the face, relax through the jaw. And then nice and slowly lift up. I'm going to swing the legs around in front, so legs are stretched out. If just sitting like this with the legs stretched out and a straight back is really uncomfortable for you, if you find that you're more like this and rounding the back, then it might be nice to put a cushion under the bum and it will give you a little bit more space in this pose. We want to have just a bit of space between the heels so they're in line with the hips, toes are lifting up. I'm going to take a seated forward fold. Now, if as you do this, again, it causes you to round the back like this, you're going to bring a little bend into the knees so you can get into this a bit more comfortably. In fact, we'll all start with a bend in the knees. So just take a very small bend in the knees, keep the toes lifting, heels on the ground. Reach the arms up, pull the belly button in, and then start to lean forwards. Think about trying to bring your belly to your thighs. So same idea as when we do that standing forward fold. Then bring the hands to wherever they reach. If they come to the feet, great. If they come to the legs, great. They can rest on the ground as well. So it doesn't matter. You don't have to get into this perfect idea of what this stretch should be. Then let your head go, let your shoulders relax. Please don't strain through the shoulders to try and grab the feet. And you can either stay here with that bend in the knees, or you can try extending the legs, reaching those heels away, and let the legs straighten. So find your version of this seated forward fold, Paschimottanasana, and then deepen the breath. Keep the toes lifted, press the heels away if you've got the legs straight. And then slowly we'll start to lift back up. So rolling up the spine, come back up to sit. Nice. Then straighten out the left leg and bend the right knee. We're going to cross this right foot over the left, keep the back straight. We're going to take the left arm and hug it around this left knee. Right hand comes to the ground behind you, but we're not leaning back onto that hand. We're keeping the back straight. So belly button still pulling in, the core is still working. Lift up tall and then start to move into this twist. Turning to look to your right. Deepen the breath, keep lifting. One more breath here. Then slowly releasing, coming back to the center. Uncross that leg and we'll take it to the other side. So bring the left knee in, cross the left foot over the right leg, lift the right toes, try and keep that leg active as you move into your twist. Then we use the right arm to wrap around the knee, left hand comes to the ground behind. We inhale and lift up tall, exhale to move into this twist. Find your breath, keep the right toes lifted. Keep the belly button pulling in, the spine long. One more breath. And then gently release, come back to the center, uncross the legs, and come down onto your back. Hug the knees into the chest as you come onto your back. And see if it feels nice to rock the knees left to right, nice and slowly. It might feel really nice on your lower back, but for some people this doesn't feel so good. So if it doesn't feel nice, just keep still instead. And we're going to keep the right knee hugging into the chest and just extend the left leg out, let it rest onto the mat. Let the left leg be heavy, let the shoulders be heavy. Deepen the breath. And then bring that left knee back into the chest, swap over. So hug the left knee in and extend the right leg, let it come down to the mat. Again, let the shoulders drop down, let the leg be heavy. Nice little stretch for the hips. And then bring that right knee back in. Let both feet drop down onto the mat, keeping the knees bent, knees lifted. Have the feet about hip distance apart and bring the heels in fairly close towards the bum so that if you reach down with your fingertips, you can just brush the back of the heels, the backs of the heels. Then place your arms down by your sides, palms turned to face up. Let the shoulders relax. You're going to press down into the feet and lift the hips up, coming into bridge pose. So one last strengthening move before we rest. Reach the knees away from you and squeeze the thighs together. Think about the points at the front of the hip and lift them up to the sky. Then start to lift your chest a little bit as well, maybe tucking your shoulders underneath you. Press everything up to the sky. Chin tucks to the chest and the chest lifts up towards the chin. Going for 3 breaths here, squeezing through the glutes, squeezing the thighs together. There's the option, if you're a little more advanced, to interlace the fingers behind the back and press the hands down into the ground. Then gently release the hands if you have them together, and nice and slowly you're going to roll down the spine. Let everything sink back down. Whew. Nice. And lift up the right foot, flex that foot, so lifting the toes towards you. You're going to open that knee out, similar to how we did in tree pose. So turn the knee out to the side and cross the right ankle over the left thigh, keeping those toes flexed. Press the right knee out away from you, going into a stretch for the right glute, for the hip. So you can either keep this left foot down on the ground, or you can try lifting it up, threading the hands through this gap so that they come around the back of the left thigh. So hands reach around the left thigh and we pull that in towards the chest. The right knee reaches away from you out to the side, lift the toes, keep those toes active. Pull that thigh in as close as you can or as far as you need to be able to feel that stretch through the right hip, the glute, maybe into the lower back, whatever you feel. Close the eyes, soften the jaw. Big belly breaths. And then nice and slowly, nice and gently, release that foot down, uncross the legs. It might feel nice here to just stretch that leg out, to point the toes up to the sky, and then flex that foot. And then we'll bend the knee and bring that foot down. Moving to the other side, lift the left leg, flex that foot, so lift the toes, turn the knee out, opening out through the hip, and then cross the left ankle over the right thigh. Press that left knee out, away from you. And then again, you can try lifting up the right foot, bringing the hands around the right thigh and hugging it in. Keep the left toes lifted, keep the left foot flexed. Again, just find this stretch and let the shoulders be as heavy as they can. Soften the face and bring your attention to your breathing. Now very gently, let everything go. Release the leg, uncross, stretch out that left leg, reach the toes up to the sky, and then flex that foot, and then bend the knee. And if there are any final movements that you want to take before we rest, you can do those now. Anything your body feels like it needs. When you're ready to rest, let your arms come out by your sides with the palms facing up. You can either keep the legs as they are with a bend in the knees, if that feels like the nicest thing to do for your back, or you can straighten out one leg and then the other, having the feet at least hip distance apart, toes turning out or just falling out to the sides. So find a comfortable position. Take a moment to shuffle and adjust any way you need to. Let the shoulders shuffle down away from the ears. And close the eyes and find stillness. Soften the muscles around the eyes. Soften the forehead. And to release any tension around the jaw and the mouth, open the mouth really wide. Wiggle the jaw from left to right. Stick out the tongue as far as you can. Don't be afraid to look silly. This is the joy of practicing at home. So really stretching out the jaw and the tongue. And then let everything relax. Let the mouth gently close, but don't grit the teeth. Let the teeth stay separate. Feel the shoulders sinking down, the whole body growing heavier with each breath. We end our practice in Shavasana, the most valuable, most precious of all the poses that we practice. Sometimes the most challenging too. If you notice that you have the urge to fidget, to move, to get up and get going again, probably means that you need this more than anyone. So let yourself practice being still, practice resting, practice bringing your body, your nervous system into a state of rest. Now keep your eyes closed. I'm going to leave you there for today. I'd like you to stay for a few more breaths. And when you're ready to finish, move slowly. Be very gentle as you wake your body up. I'll leave you with the word Namaste, which means the light and the life within me bows to the light and the life within you. So thank you for joining me on the mat today. Namaste.